So I pissed off a lot of martial arts masters with my previous video, the part 1 video on how to extinguish a flame with just a punch. And yeah, I get it. You might be using that flame punch technique to kind of test your students, and you don't want like the secret to be out that with some heavy practice, you'll be able to do that yourself. Like anybody can do that, blah, blah, blah. But the truth is, really, can anybody, just anybody do that? So let me go back, let me qualify all of what I said. And I'm going to just say that, okay, maybe I'm wrong there. Maybe anyone in the world cannot do that, right? So it does in fact take a certain kind of specialized skill to be able to extinguish a flame using a punch. You have to be very fast, that's for sure, right? So number one, be very, very fast. So you have to have very fast twitch muscles. So not everybody can like punch like this, right? So, and that's slow for me. Like I can punch faster than that, but not everybody can do that. Like lightning quick jabs, not everybody can do that for whatever reason. Because if like, let's say somebody has nerve damage or somebody has like some sort of disconnect between the mind and the body, right? So not everybody can do this. And perhaps with a lot of training, these people still cannot do that. And that's okay, right? So by saying that anybody can do this, maybe there were some people who got offended by this also, people who tried and they couldn't extinguish a flame with their punches. And really, the amount of practice that you need is probably going to be very significant. It's not going to be something where you can just learn this overnight, or even a month, or even a year. You have to be really, really quick. And I'm going to tell you right now that, yes, I have very fast twitch muscles. I always have. And there are some things that I can do that a lot of other people can't do just because of the way I'm built. And what I'm built like, I don't think it's anything special for martial arts. I think I'm really built for yoga. As many of you know, I am a world yoga champion. I'm ranked number 6 in the world right now. And there were times that I was ranked higher than that in other federations. So I got gold medal a couple of times in another federation. So I'm pretty good at yoga, that's for sure. And a lot of that, does that require fast twitch muscles? No. Mm-mm. What it requires is like a steady pace. So yoga is something where you have to be pretty steady, you move slowly through it, and you show a kind of flow in your movement that is almost akin to slower version of gymnastics or breakdancing or things like that. So gymnastics and breakdancing, as we see it on TV, very fast sports. So you see lots of quick motions, and a lot of people are impressed by anyone who can display quick motions. When you see a yoga routine, sometimes viewers, so certain viewers who are not used to seeing yoga routines, they'll be bored out of their minds because they're like, what is going on here? Everybody's so slow. Everybody's moving so slowly. My son like kind of put it best when he said, this will never get into the Olympics because it's such a slow kind of sport. And it's like, well, there are slow sports in the Olympics. There's archery, right? Archery is not something where you just pull this thing back and then just release. No, it's a slow, steady movement, right? Slow, steady movement. And you're waiting there for several seconds before the shot actually fires off. In fact, sometimes you're waiting for more than just a few seconds. And there's like this tension that's built up because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if there's going to be like a slight quiver in the archer's stance, right? You don't know. That's the beauty of some of these sports. The fact that you've got this tension, this buildup of tension. And yoga has that too. So when you're watching a yoga routine and somebody's doing like an almost impossible looking balancing kind of pose, it's amazing to see that, to see someone that's very steady and very slow moving into the posture, moving out of the posture. It's like a work of art to just see and experience a yoga practitioner like basically performing these movements. So with this flame punching thing that I just did, this video that I just produced, a lot of you might be like wondering, well, okay, maybe I'm not able to do it today or tomorrow or next year, but can I develop this? And the quick answer is yes, but it depends on so many different factors, of course. So does it require that you be someone special? I don't think I'm anything special in the world of martial arts. I do have 5 years of Aikido, 2 years of Kung Fu, and various other forms of sports that are kind of like that, right? But I don't think I'm anything special that way. But I will tell you that if you saw part 1 of the video, you know that I had some very good teachers. And through the constant drilling, I was able to defend against strikes very quickly. Like, this is like, I'm just slowing it down so you can see, right? Otherwise, it's like fast twitch muscles. And you can develop that. So one of the things I've been doing recently is this thing called Soul Cycle. And you see here, I've done 100 rides right there. I'm close to 150 now. So I'll be getting a new card soon. So they give you a new card after every milestone. The next milestone is 150. So I'm going to tell you that not only is Soul Cycle, which is basically spinning, plus a little bit more, not only is it just like riding the bike and pumping your legs up, but there's an arm workout component to it too. And depending on the teacher that you take the class with, it can be a very rigorous arm workout, something that will fatigue you. It's designed to fatigue you. So you're doing these reps, right? You're doing these kinds of things over and over, and you're doing boxing, right? You're doing all sorts of things like tricep lifts, right? And rows and things like that. So you do this at the speed of dance music. And by doing 150 classes of this, you'll probably be where I'm at, maybe, right? In terms of fast twitch muscles. Maybe you'll be able to do it sooner, maybe later. But if you do a lot of them, and you do it like the way that things are recommended, the way that people recommend them, the instructor recommends, you're going to develop some very, very fast twitch muscles. And then you'll be able to go in front of a flame and practice your punches. Now, a flame punch isn't what you think it is, right? So if you just watch everything at speed, you'll see that one of the punches actually looks like I went through the flame. But I'm going to show you right now that that's not what was happening. So I'm going to play this first one. We're going to watch it together, and you'll see that I actually do not touch the flame at all. I'm about 1 inch away from it. And here it goes, right here. I call it the death touch technique. So the death touch technique is you stop your fist in front of the flame about 1 inch away from the flame. So that's the death touch technique, or some people might call it the 1 inch punch. Then I had a second technique. So I showed 3 different techniques on how to extinguish a flame using a punch. There are many more, but these were just 3 examples. And so some of you might have thought that I just simply repeated the same punch over and over and over again, but I didn't. There are actually 3 separately recorded instances in which I extinguished a flame using a punch, using the air in front of the punch. So some people call it the push air technique, right? So that's like, sounds mystical, right? But really it's like the way that you approach your technique, the precision that you aim your fist to the flame and stop just short. And if you do it right, using any of these techniques, you'll extinguish the flame. So the 1 inch punch, and then I have this thing called the spin wave technique. So in karate, they actually have various practitioners, and some of these people were the ones who were mad at me, I think. They actually have this technique where when you cock back and punch, you're spinning, right, this way. And you stop right short of the flame, and you can extinguish it if you throw your fist hard enough and fast enough. However, my spin technique, and we'll go through it, I actually do like the corkscrews the other way. So in a sense, it's harder because I'm not doing a wind-up. I'm just going forward. So initially on the original video, you saw me basically do this kind of thing, right? And so this doesn't do anything. This I just placed this right in front of the flame just to show you the approximate distance between my hand and the flame. And then I cocked my hand back. In fact, if you saw, my hand was actually like slightly open, right? The fingers were not like tense. And so I cocked it back, and then I just whipped my hand out, and it spun at the very end. And I think, I don't know, some people are probably going to be mad at me if I say this, but it's like something that I read about and learned a little bit of by following some of these Jeet Kune Do masters, right? So if you read up on Bruce Lee's books, you'll see that like this kind of like twist punch kind of technique is very powerful. So that's the second technique, the little twist, the spin wave, I call it. Now, the third one, and we're going to go through that, we're going to play this. In fact, let's play this now. It's called the push air technique. And if you see what I did there, you'll see that I actually stopped about 3 inches away from the flame. That is perhaps the most advanced technique that I showed of all three. So the first one, the death touch, the 1-inch punch, was the easiest because you got really close to the flame, so that's easy. The spin wave is like, yeah, it requires some skill, so I'll call that medium difficulty because you do have to kind of twist at the end. And because this part was actually kind of fan waving the flame to extinguish, then, you know, like I created like an air current. And the air current with a slight torque at the very end, that was enough to kind of like whoosh out the flame, extinguish the flame. So the final one was a direct punch, very, very fast punch, and because of the force of impact, and remember, impact is like 3 inches away from the flame, I was able to extinguish that flame. And so I could just say it's just practice, but for some people, I believe maybe practice might not be enough. And so really, what I said before about anyone can do it, I would have to qualify that and just say that anyone who's got fast twitch muscles and practices martial arts in a fast twitch way can do it. If you practice things in a slow way, you might not be able to do it. If you do a lot of grappling, then it'll probably be a little harder to develop fast twitch muscles with punching. But like, if you do MMA, you have the fast twitch muscle thing going on, and you have the grappling going on. So I'm not talking about grapplers in MMA. I'm talking about grapplers who just do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or regular Jiu-Jitsu. You're probably not going to have tons of practice in punching. So you must develop your fast twitch muscles, and that is how you can develop the so-called death touch or the push air technique or the spin wave technique. Yes, very, very cool. Now, my brown belt in Aikido, for 5 years, I trained one-on-one with Ed Shockley, and he showed me sword techniques as well as the equivalent open hand techniques. And we practiced these drills over and over and over again until I got the timing right. And he's a 4th degree black belt now in Aikido, but he has other martial arts background experience too. It's not like everyone at my dojo just knows Aikido. No, there are people there who know boxing, that know other martial arts, that know other sports, for example, like football. And you have these people who are multi-talented. Big as heck, these people. These are, like Ed Shockley is 6'8", and imagine trying to work your Aikido techniques on someone who is 6'8", and I'm 5'7". So it's like, whoa. And successfully executing your Aikido techniques on a 6'8" dude. That's amazing. And so he taught me about fast twitch muscle work. And yeah, I am forever grateful to him for that. So just taking his course, like if I was only taking his course for 5 years, that's not that impressive. I was taking other classes in addition to his throughout the week as well. So there's also Sensei Roderick Johnson, and he's awesome. He is built like a tank, and imagine having to throw him in Aikido, right? Like that's hard. That's really hard. Can you imagine moving someone that's gigantic, like a big linebacker type? It's hard, and if you can do that, that's amazing. So it's not like I sparred against like small Asian people. No. I sparred against big guys and muscular guys. And it's like, whoa, this is like my Aikido is working against these people in these controlled situations. But I also had another sensei, his name is John Porter, and he was totally amazing because he had like that kind of like street sensibility mixed into his martial arts. he had encountered many different situations in the street that were not quite right, and he had to apply his Aikido techniques to those situations, and he was able to safely get out of those situations. So he actually ended up throwing somebody, and that guy broke his hand, and because he's like chief of surgery at a hospital, the funny thing is the emergency vehicle drove this poor guy over to the hospital, and there waiting for him was my sensei, John Porter. and he repaired his hand. And it's like hilarious. And the guy was like, wait, aren't you the guy that flipped me over? And he said, yeah, I'm repairing your hand now. So these are the teachers that I had at my Aikido school. So this school was no joke. This was a true Aikido school, not like a watered down Aikido school. And a lot of people who bash Aikido, they bash Aikido because they see a lot of watered down techniques. My school wasn't like that. My school was almost more like a Aki Jiu-Jitsu school than it was an Aikido school. And so that was pretty cool. And we did a lot of boken work with wooden swords and tanto with wooden knives and things like that. And yeah, you can go and criticize Aikido all you want and say, oh, it doesn't work, blah, blah, blah. But if you look at various martial arts practitioners on YouTube, the famous ones, they are discovering that certain kinds of martial arts, even though people have bashed them, if you go to the right teacher, you're going to get quality martial arts that will work. And so all I am saying here is go find a dojo or a school that is legitimate, that has people with real world experience and other kinds of experience, not just Aikido, right? Not just, or whatever martial art you're going for, right? Make sure that they have some real world experience doing something else. If they have MMA experience, great, then you kind of know how to fight in a controlled way, right? And if you have like street defense techniques, if you have like a teacher like that, that might be helpful too. Although some people bash teachers who teach street defense, so saying that the techniques are not very realistic, like the situations are not very realistic that they teach you, but the thing is you have to start somewhere, right? And so with these techniques that you learn in these martial arts schools, hopefully you'll be able to develop fast twitch techniques. Now I will say that when I was studying Kung Fu at a very famous Kung Fu temple in New York City, they developed our fast twitch techniques totally. And we developed these fast twitch techniques while sitting in horse stance. If you know what horse stance is, you will understand how difficult it can be to hold that horse stance for half an hour, for 1 hour. Imagine just practicing holding a horse stance for a long time and then practicing your fast twitch punching techniques. That's why I said in the previous part 1 video that if you're good at Kung Fu, you probably will have fast twitch muscles and you probably will be able to punch a flame and knock it out, extinguish it. So yeah, so other martial arts where you can develop fast twitch techniques, karate, definitely, taekwondo, definitely, Krav Maga, definitely, Muay Thai, definitely, boxing, so definitely. Anything that has like fast twitch muscle fiber techniques, you'll be more than well equipped to extinguish flames. You just have to practice. Now, there are students who will go through these programs and they're going to do things slowly and they might not have that fast twitch ability. So they're tested in a different way when they achieve their next rank. So they might know a lot of the techniques, but they just can't pull them off very quickly. And that's a different story altogether. So those people might not be able to extinguish a flame. But the thing is, if they learn things to compensate for the ability to not be able to like do fast twitch techniques, then that might be enough to save their lives, right? So some of us are taking these courses, these martial arts courses and programs to kind of learn things to help save our lives, right? So if they pull off a technique that doesn't require fast twitch muscle fibers, then yeah, it could be just as effective as punching somebody very quickly. And punching somebody very quickly, you have to develop that strength too, to be able to knock somebody out, right? It's hard to knock somebody out. I've never knocked anyone out. But I can punch real hard. for my size, and that's not going to do much against some much larger opponent, I know, but yeah, that's that's just how it is. Like, you get an arm that's this big, you're not going to be able to best someone who's got an arm like twice the size, 4 times the size. It's just not going to happen unless you hit them like 100 times very quickly, but I'm pretty sure that they'll be able to knock you out if they just hit you once. So yeah, fast twitch muscle fiber techniques, and practice that. And yeah, like my Soul Cycle has really helped me with that. As like, it was like something that I just chanced upon, right? Like I said to myself, wait, all of these repetitious dumbbell movements that I'm doing, we're doing them like really quickly to the beat of dance music. And it's crazy. You're doing it with weights, right? So you get to do these dumbbell curls, you get to do punches with weights. And I don't know if many of you have practiced this, but if you learn to punch with weights, then if you didn't have your weights, you're going to be punching a lot faster. And so that is one way of developing speed with your punches. And then all you have to do, if you're confident about it and you have the fast twitch muscle fiber abilities, you can then stand in front of a flame, concentrate on it, and know where the distance is. Because you don't want to hit the flame and then burn your hand, right? But I've actually punched a flame like through the flame, and it doesn't really hurt me anyway, but it might hurt you. So I do not recommend going through the flame. You want to stop short of the flame, and you want to make sure that you stay safe doing all of this, right? So don't just have a candle lighted on there and then hope for the best, right? So you have to have this candle securely on something. Like, I had a box that I kind of like shoved the candle into, and it stayed there. If you just have a candle resting on top of something and you're trying to punch it, and then suddenly the candle falls and sets everything aflame, then you'll be in, like, your whole place will be in big trouble. So I do not recommend just setting your candle on top of something. You have to have it secure and not moving when you do this flame punch technique. So I hope that I've explained myself clearly in this video about the flame punch technique. And if you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to comment below. And yeah, I'll give you some tips and pointers on how to develop speed. And yeah, I think a lot of people can do this. It's just that you have to have that developed speed. It's not going to be something that's developed overnight. It might take years, but with the proper practice and training, you'll be able to do it. And you'll impress your friends, perhaps, because it's kind of cool, right? Extinguishing a flame. Like, I told various friends about this, and they saw my video, and they were like shocked that someone could do this. And I said, well, you can do it too. I know that you can, because you have fast twitch muscle fibers. They didn't seem to understand. So yeah, that's basically it. So everybody, if you like this video, please slam the like button, subscribe to my channel. You'll see more videos just like this one. Until next time, everybody, see you, bye, and happy flame punching.